And I didn't take the thumbnail down. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. We're your hosts. I'm Brad.
I'm Miguel.
And this is going to be a fun one. Speaking of thumbnails, this is going to be a little bit of a rant episode. I'm going to be straight up with you.
And don't think that we know all of those. We've watched every single one of those things on the thumbnail
have
because
not.
I'm going to be completely honest. I have not. So
No, it's from
take
DC
that what you will.
So here's the question of the day. Well, I'm gonna make a statement first. I'm just gonna make a statement, and I'm gonna get hate for it, and I'm gonna be called a Marvel fanboy. And you know what? That's okay. I'm okay with that because I genuinely am not a fan of what they are doing and what they have done with the DCEU. I'm not about it, and I think it could have been something really cool. I don't know if it's. I think it's a combination of things that have turned it into what it is and that have gotten it to this point. I am excited for the Flash. I want, especially with the return of Keaton. That's kind of the big thing. Keaton's return as Batman is like the overarching. Like, wow, that's gonna be pretty cool. Like, I'm super stoked to see that, to see him back in that role, and to see what they're gonna do with that character. But here it is, right here at 8:29 p.m. on April 12th. I think the DCEU is too far gone. I really do. I think.
And what do you mean too far gone?
I think you had a good thing. I think we're to the point, especially with this new news about Ezra Miller. And let me say this: we're not here to talk about them. We are not here to talk about Ezra Miller. If you are unaware of what's going on with Ezra Miller, I put the title of the article and the link to that Rolling Stone article in the chat, so you can go to the chat. You can read about that. We're not here to talk about that or cast judgment on him or anybody else. That's not what we're here to do. But there is another article that I wanted to share because, given what we know about the Flash and that the DCEU is set to kind of start exploring the DC multiverse, I think there's this can go two ways. There's an opportunity to make this really, really cool and to revitalize it, but there's also an opportunity to tank it. And I think we're already kind of on the way to tanking it. So this is gonna be a fun one. I'm drinking some bourbon tonight.
That's a whole ass bottle, guys.
I just grabbed the bottle because I was coming in here and we were already running late. So
Okay.
Miguel, buddy.
Yeah.
The DCEU. What are your thoughts overall up to this point? What are your thoughts on where the DCU is currently and where it is headed? Now that we know there's the Flash coming, we know Aquaman, though I don't even remember what the title of that film is. We have Black Adam coming. I mean, there are a few projects coming, but do you think it's going to be enough, knowing what we know about the fate of Ben Affleck's Batman and the fate of Henry Cavill's Superman? What are your thoughts on the DCU as of late?
I think it's the phrase "throw shit on the wall and make it stick." Except They didn't throw it at a wall; they threw it at a fan, and now there's shit everywhere.
Yeah,
if I'm being completely honest, because everything is just a giant clusterfuck, and they're trying to act like everything's okay.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't make any fucking sense. And if you think about it, I don't think you saw. I don't know if you saw on the news recently that they did push back like everything, right?
They did. They pushed back a lot.
They pushed back everything. Literally a week after they made that trailer of like, here comes a new DC.
The world needs superheroes. That whole
until the world needs superheroes. As soon as we push it back another year, everything. Yeah. And I think that comes along the lines of like they're just not prepared, and they're just not they don't even really know what the direction they want to do.
Yeah.
Even though everything is probably laid out for them. And I don't know who the fuck, and I think Warner Bros. Is like going through so much different bullshit right now. They didn't get acquired by Discovery Plus.
No, so there was a merge. I think there's a few things to point out. I think kind of the big thing going on right now is Warner Brothers is now Warner Brothers Discovery. There's actually they've changed their Twitter accounts to uh Warner Brothers Discovery, and that merger
Didn't I
has
already
been
go through another
completed.
merger too?
They might have. One of them might have acquired some other things. I don't remember exactly what. I don't remember exactly which companies they acquired. I can't keep track of all of that because it changes. You know what I mean? It changes so frequently. Hunter Iggy, see you in the chat, buddy. Thanks for coming. Let's talk movies. Do you think David Zaslav will replace Ezra Miller? I'm not sure. I've heard a lot of talk about it, and that's kind of one of the things we're going to get to in just a few minutes. I have an article I want to pull up that kind of raised a red flag, and really the article that made me want to do this episode in particular. I think there's a chance that he could, or that someone could. I don't. Let's see. What has David Zaslav done?
I'm stumping right now.
Who is he? Yeah, I knew he was somebody high up in Discovery. I think he could replace him with somebody else. Now, who he's going to replace him with, I don't know.
Well, that's probably why they pushed it back a year.
That's only. I mean, the Flash is already filmed, so I think the Flash is gonna, unless they do some crazy Disney level CGI crap like what they would do with like a Star Wars film. I think the Flash is pretty much set the way it's going to be. And I actually just sent Miguel a tweet earlier, or like literally like minutes before we went on. I sent him a tweet from My Time to Shine Hello, which is a very spot on source on a movie source on Twitter about the post-credit scene for The Flash. And I think that film is pretty set in what they're going to do. Now, after The Flash, I think that my prediction is that the DCEU is going to look very different after that film. I think it's going to look very different. I don't think it's going to even resemble what we got with BVS and Man of Steel and Justice League. I think it's going to be a completely different animal after this. But kind of going back to the Warner Brothers Discovery thing, I think with this merger, I know Ann Sarnoff and a lot of her staff members are, I believe, being switched out with other people. And I'm not one of the people. I don't think it's all Ann Sarnoff's fault. I don't think that at all. I don't think it's any one person's fault or any one group's fault. I think there's a lot of things that just went wrong. It feels, when I think of the DCEU, I think it feels very rushed. Everything. I mean, from Man of Steel to BVS to Justice League to Wonder Woman to everything just feels so like they're just trying to throw so much at this universe. And it's like, but you can't. I hate to compare it to Marvel, but I'm going to, because here's the thing.
Look, if you want to create a universe like this, I'm sorry, you guys can get mad all you want and to call people Marvel fanboys, but if another studio is wanting to create a universe, quote unquote monsterverse, quote unquote fucking DCEU, and then the Stephen King universe, like if you are going to try to attempt that, who do you think is the first person to do it? Marvel. Simple as that. Marvel is the first person to actually attempt to do this and be successful at it. Granted, you can say what you want about Marvel now and how it is with the TV shows, but again, they're the ones pioneering all of this. So therefore, if another company is going to try to do some type of fucking universe thing, you have to use Marvel as a benchmark. You have to use it as like the bar, because guess what? They did set the bar. You can't say they're doing their own thing, because if you're creating a universe, you're doing exactly what the Marvel universe did. Yeah. And they played by the rules. They threw so many risks, and guess what? They succeeded, and they're fucking huge. So if people are going to get upset with the fact that we're going to compare the DCEU with Marvel, you have to understand Marvel is the first person to do it. There's no one else to compare it to. And yet people could say it's a new thing, but guess what? This new thing is already popular with Marvel. They did it successfully. Right. So I don't know why people get upset when they try to compare DCEU with Marvel. The cinematic universe, comic books are a different story. And even then, that's a whole other different conversation. But when you're talking about the cinematic universes of it, you have to understand that both that DCEU is trying to do what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing. And that's why it's okay for us to talk about that.
But
Because
see,
there's
my
no one else
question,
to compare it with.
I don't think about it that way. My question is why? Like, why are they trying to do and build what Marvel has built? Listen, I don't say this to be a Debbie Downer. I don't say this to be like Marvel, go Marvel. Like, yes, like I think both of us are Marvel people. I'm not trying to speak for you, but we're Marvel people. You know what I mean? We are. And I love DC. I don't have anything against DC. I think DC's animated films are spectacular. The everything outside of the DCEU, it seems like, is great, which is why it blows my mind that the DCEU has turned into the mess that it is. You know what I mean? I don't understand. My big question is like, why are you trying to do what Marvel's doing? You're never gonna be Marvel. Marvel created the universe formula, like they did. I mean, they took. It's not like it's a franchise where you have, for example, like I don't know, I'm first thing that came to my mind, the Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil films. Like that is a franchise. Like that is 7 films that are direct sequels to each other. But this idea where you have Iron Man over here and then the Hulk, but eventually they cross paths and then their spin-offs cross paths and everything is just building upon each other. Marvel built that. Stan Lee built that. Kevin Feige built that. And you're never going to have that. My question is, it seems like DC's standalone films are spectacular. Joker was spectacular. The Dark Knight trilogy was spectacular. The Batman was spectacular. I don't know why. I know everybody says like they want to say the business model. Well, the business model, Marvel is what's popular. This universe idea is what's popular. But people love all of your standalone movies that aren't a part of a universe. Why? I would think it would be a better business model to stick to what they do really well than to try and copy, and even if they don't want to say they're copying, to try and emulate, you know what I mean? Or, build their own version of what Marvel has. Build your own version of what you do well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just, I'm ranting here, man.
Well, I can agree with you. I can agree with you in that aspect. This is because, again, I'll say if the DCEU is going to try to do like this whole like cinematic universe, then they are going to get benchmarked by Marvel's cinematic universe. But again, they do such a good job with their standalone films. I just don't understand why they just don't make that their niche.
Yeah,
I don't know why they're constantly being pressured by fans to make this cinematic universe or try to make this cinematic universe, because obviously it's not working, because this is by far the second clusterfuck that they've gone through, and
yeah,
some studios would crush these plans after one fuck up. So do with that what you will, and because it's pretty fucking insane how DC just doesn't really know what it wants to do.
Well, and I'm not saying I don't think Marvel's perfect. I think the MCU has had some low points. I mean, think Thor: The Dark World, think Iron Man 3, think
the whole Sony thing. That's Marvel.
Yeah, even look at what Morbius is doing. I mean, it's all kind of under the same umbrella now. Like, they're not perfect. Marvel has had some slam dunks, and they have had some where it's like, I mean, even The Incredible Hulk, like that's a good movie, but compared to the rest of you know what I mean?
And if I'm being
with
honest,
the recasting
Eternals, the one of last year's installments, Eternals didn't really do much. That's pretty low on Rotten Tomatoes. So
yeah, I mean,
that's Marvel not to say that Marvel is some angelic fucking universe. Like, it has its problems.
Yeah, I'm not saying Marvel could shit in a toilet and then I'll put it up on a gold pedestal. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like they're like overall, like the overall model of what they've done, they have nailed it. And that's why Marvel Studios and Disney can tell these crazy big stories like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and like Spider-Man No Way Home and Avengers Endgame, where you have so many different characters crossing paths and you're telling this huge, like as you would call it, like a world breaker story. You know what I mean? I think they have nailed it, and they've nailed the TV thing. Like, I think Marvel is doing a spectacular job. Now, again, back to my question. if I'm DC, I'm like, you know what? The Dark Knight trilogy did really well. The Batman did really well. Joker did really well. Why am I still pushing this universe thing when we could be telling individual stories like the Batman? I would say, I don't know if I would have to look at the box office numbers. I would say the Batman is probably the best thing that they have done DC wise, that Warner Brothers has done since the Dark Knight trilogy. Would you agree with that?
I'm looking at the box office right now.
Yeah. Let us know. I mean, I don't know. And there's so many changes coming. And I'm like, why are we making all of these changes to something like it feels like they're trying to make changes to something that doesn't have a really firm foundation, you know? Like
it has
it feels like the whole
736 million.
The Batman.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like the whole thing is rocky without changing anything anyways. Hunter says David Zaslav is firing all former Warner Brothers. Yeah, he is. He's firing
really?
a lot of the they're getting rid of a lot. There's a huge turnover going on in Warner Brothers right now. He also says, do you think we will get a Young Justice live action movie or series? We could, but that's the thing. There are so many cool dark storylines from the DC comic book universe. Why can't
and not
they
even dark,
do that?
Just good stories.
Yeah, like I'm not saying, and I guess maybe it could be confusing, but like Red Sun, the Superman Soviet Union thing, like a lot of that stuff, like do that stuff, like just
I wouldn't do that right now in this climate.
I wouldn't do that right now, but you know what I'm saying. Stories like that.
It has a lot of great storylines in the DC comic books franchise, but yet they're trying to push for this same formula that Marvel is doing, like group of misfit superheroes coming together to attack an invader, and then the invader is only being led by this big bad, i.e. Darkseid and Steppenwolf.
Yeah,
that was clearly verbatim what Marvel did with Avengers. Say what you will, they are trying to copy Marvel.
Yeah,
but my thing is, if you were going to copy Marvel, you were going to be benchmarked by Marvel,
right?
By fans. So for that logic, just find your niche, dude. Again, I think Aquaman, great movie. The Batman, great movie. The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, great movie. All of them are great movie, and literally only one of them was a part of the DCEU, Aquaman. Now, what can we say about Wonder Woman 1984? Meh. What can I say about
84 was meh. I do have to say I enjoyed the first Wonder Woman film. I really liked it.
Yeah, the first Wonder Woman film was pretty dope.
Out of the DCEU films, other than the Snyderverse film, I think Wonder Woman is probably my favorite. And I actually kind of, in a weird way, like I know it was a little cheesier than the first one. I enjoyed Wonder Woman 84 though. Like for what it was, I did. I had a fun time watching it. Like it was a good watch. I mean, I can't say I'm super like, I mean, I wasn't like, oh, like that was amazing, but I enjoyed watching it. It was a fun watch. So let's get a sip of water here. Let's go over to this article. Again, we're not here to just sit here and talk about the Ezra Miller thing. You can go read about that on your own. But
all I'm saying is when you put the franchise on the back of someone, Ezra Miller's you chose poorly with Ezra Miller. Because granted, Marvel put the universe on the back of probably one of the most rehabilitated actor in Hollywood.
I know, they did, yeah. That was a big gamble.
They took a big gamble, and it worked.
And RDJ is Tony Stark now. You know what I mean? Like it worked.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would say. I mean, it's a shame everything that's happened with Ezra Miller, but I wouldn't say that it's a shame that they put it on their back, like at all. I wouldn't say that at all. I think it's just a shame of everything that's happened. That's not DC. I'm kidding. So the Flash, Ezra Miller arrest prompts emergency meeting over DCEU future. Miller was recently arrested for disorderly conduct and harassment at a Hawaii bar. So here's the article.
Bro, why are you gonna do this at a Hawaiian bar, dog? Hawaiians they're the most chill people. So if you were to get arrested in Hawaii, you're doing something wrong, dog. I'm just saying that right now. You're gonna piss off one of the most chillest places on Earth, yeah, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. After Ezra Miller was arrested for disorderly conduct and harassment, a new report says Warner Brothers held an emergency meeting to discuss pausing Miller's future projects with the company. According to Rolling Stone, Warner Brothers and DC executives held an emergency meeting on March 30th, so not too long ago, just a couple weeks ago, to discuss Miller's future with the studio. While a decision doesn't appear to have been formalized, one source says the consensus is to hit pause on any future projects involving Miller, including possible appearances in the DC cinematic universe. Miller is set to reprise their role as Barry Allen in The Flash, which is set to be released on June 23rd, 2023. The film will co-star fellow Snyderverse alum Ben Affleck as Batman, as well as Michael Keaton, who will return as his version of Batman, and Sasha Calle as Supergirl. The Flash was stuck in development hell for years and went through multiple directors before tapping it director Andy Muschietti to helm the feature. Filming was completed on October 18th, and The Flash was originally set to premiere in November 22 before being delayed to June 23rd, 2023. According to reports, Miller became agitated while at a karaoke bar and grabbed the microphone from a woman singing and reportedly lunged at another man playing darts. The couple later filed a restraining order against Miller. Miller has starred in both blockbuster movies and indie dramas, but the recent arrest was not their first outburst. In 2020, a video showing Miller apparently choking a woman at an Iceland bar began circulating online, though no arrests were made. Miller's future at Warner Brothers, especially as a part of the DC cinematic universe, is being discussed during a strange time for the company. You could say that again. It's a very strange time for the company. The Flash has drummed up a lot of excitement with its cast. However, the DCEU is in a strange place as Warner Brothers appears to be releasing connected films like The Flash and Aquaman 2 along standalone films like The Batman. As of now, The Flash is still on track for its 2023 release date, and there is no news yet of a potential sequel. IGN has reached out to Warner Brothers and Miller's representatives for comment. So there it is. I mean, here's the deal. I'm not here. It's not my place to say whether I think he should continue in the DCU or not. My thing is, if let's say, Hunter, let's say you're right in the chat. Let's say you're right. And Zaslav gets rid of Ezra Miller. They get rid of him. That leaves you with two original DC people. That leaves you with Wonder Woman and Aquaman. And I'm sorry.
And people are already trying to protest Aquaman because of the whole Amber Heard thing.
Yeah, and listen.
So,
I didn't even. Oh my god, it's like an endless spiral.
And that's what's happening. Like they're being like.
And
Aquaman
that whole
2
thing
is going to
Johnny,
get a box
they're
office
about to
hit.
go to court too.
Yeah, they're going to get hit in their box office records because of that Amber Heard situation as well. So, with that being said, let me say this:
take a drink.
Do you think it'd be wise for them to just recast everyone?
No, I think that'll make it work. Listen, if you get rid of Wonder Woman, if you get rid of Ezra Miller, you get rid of them. That leaves you again with those two characters, with Wonder Woman and Aquaman. And if I listen, I don't know. This may be a spoiler alert for some people. If you don't know, the current rumor is that Ben Affleck's Batman is supposed to die, and Keaton's Batman is Batman. He is returning to try and help them find a new Batman, which I believe is supposed to end up being Supergirl and Batgirl. They're supposed to be the two new Superman and Batman main characters. There is no Superman. And
why make that a story? Why make that part of the story, though?
Let me find the tweet. I literally just sent this to Miguel, and it's on my phone. My Time to Shine Hello, which is again, if you are trying to avoid spoilers for The Flash, please, don't. This is involving the post-credit scene for The Flash. Again, just take this as rumor until you see the film. But this anonymous person has a huge track record for leaking very accurate information about Marvel and DC films on Twitter. And she tweeted, or they tweeted, we don't know, maybe it's a man, who knows, today at 7:55 a.m. in a post-credit scene for The Flash involving Aquaman, they make it clear Superman does not exist in the new DCEU timeline. Why? Like, why? And listen, I don't have a problem with it. I know people are going to be like, you just don't want it to be Supergirl and Batgirl. No, I don't want them to tell. I don't want them to be the only.
I don't like that's my thing right here, because here, let me just say this real quick, because they are constantly trying, when they're trying to recast someone, they're trying to make it make sense in the story. Why?
Make it make sense then.
Why though? Why try to make it make sense? Look at what happened in Iron Man 2 with Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle.
I forgot about that.
Terrence Howard was going through some bullshit with Robert Downey Jr. in Marvel because he wasn't getting paid enough. So he was let go as Rhodey. And guess what happened? Guess how they introduced Don Cheadle's Rhodey? They just introduced him into it. They didn't talk about it. It wasn't mentioned in the fucking movie. They didn't make no side comment about it.
How I understand that though. How could you? How could you be like, well, here's a new Rhodey? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, so like if like, well, that was probably that no one questioned it. Obviously, people questioned it, but it was a good move. And now Don Cheadle has his own TV show coming up with War Machine or Iron Wars. Like,
but I don't understand.
It's how easy that was able to be done. And yet everyone's trying to figure out a way to tell a story with a change, which goes back to the whole Black Panther thing. I'm sorry. Chadwick Boseman, one of my best heroes. I loved him in 42, and I loved him all the other movies he's been in.
You got him behind you right there.
Yeah, see? I got him right behind me. But you can't just try to tell a story and say, just recast him. We know what happened. The fans know exactly what happened. So there's no point in trying to tell a story as to how to make him, how to like recast him. Just recast them. Yeah. This is a movie. We don't have to make sense of recast.
I think in this case, though, it's not a matter of recasting them. I think they're trying to, it's not recasting a different actor. I mean, I think this is more.
They're gonna have to recast.
They're trying.
Miller. If that's in the book, if that's on the table, it's on the table.
I'm talking Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. Like
that too, because
they're trying to replace the characters of Superman and Batman. And again, I am not saying I think it's awesome that they want to tell Supergirl and Batman or Batgirl stories. I think that's awesome. And I think they should include them in the DCEU. That's cool. Like, you could tell some really dope stories with those two characters.
Yes, but
why do we have to replace? Exactly. Make it its own thing. Why do we have to replace Superman and replace Batman? Like, you got Michael Keaton to come back as Batman. And that's his return, is you're going to use him to send all, like, he's going to come back and be like, here's a new Batman, and then leave. Like, I mean, I don't know that that's going to happen, but like,
there was another leak going on with the DC stuff. It was said that General Zod, whoever played General Zod, was going to be in that movie as well. And
I don't know.
He kills Michael Keaton, Supergirl, and kills Henry Cavill's Superman as an infant. And that's supposed to reset everything too.
I'm taking a drink for our audio listeners.
So it's like, bro, we don't have to make this. We don't have to do this whole Flashpoint thing to reset the universe. Yeah. The Flashpoint story is already great, and for them to make a Flashpoint movie and make it this sense, like tell the story like it is right now, and how the leaks are going on, that's not a good plan. It's not. You could tell the story same way as the Flashpoint in the comics. Make your a little own spin on it, sure. But dog, this whole new Flash movie, and if it's going in the direction of Flashpoint Paradox, I can't see that being exactly the same or anywhere similar to
won't be.
The comics.
It won't be.
And the reason why they're doing it is to fucking reset the whole universe. That's not what that movie is supposed to be. If you have a movie to reset the whole franchise, you're not going to do well.
Yeah. Hunter Iggy says, let's talk movies. There are rumors going around the internet that Warner Brothers wants to push Black woke Kal-El Superman movie to replace Henry Cavill Superman. Yeah, I've heard that. Cool. Listen, I believe Michael B. Jordan was in talks to play that Black Superman. Awesome, do it. But why do we have to do it to replace the current version of what we? It's like they've been like, oh, here's our universe. This is the DCEU. We're building our universe. But then it's like, never mind. We got to rewrite all that. We got to rewrite all that. We got to rewrite it. And then it's like, okay, here's our starting point. And then they're going to do the same thing again. It's all, listen, the DCEU, at least what I've seen so far, and you may be listening after the fact. You may be listening right now on YouTube, on Spotify, on podcast platform, whatever. You may completely disagree with me, but I feel like the DCEU has been all destination and zero journey. And that is the opposite of what has made Marvel Marvel. Like, Marvel started small, and we now look at, we're at Endgame and No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness. Like, literally, it just feels like, listen, before the first Justice League movie came out, and I don't care, Snyder version, Joss Whedon version, whatever. That's besides the point that I'm trying to make right now. Before that Justice League movie should have ever come out, every single one of them should have had their own solo movie. Not just Man of Steel
DCEU
and then BVS.
Is all about the destination, not the journey.
Yes, every single character, every member of the Justice League should have had at least one of their own films before we got a Justice League movie. Because it felt like it was like, here's Superman. We're not going to do a Batman story, even if you could have done it the way the Batman did, where he's already Batman. You didn't have to do an origin story. Remember when the whole thing, about Ben Affleck's Batman script, and he was going to do kind of the same thing that they did with the Batman, where he's damaged and he's got PTSD, and Batman is kind of in a really dark emotional place. Like. They could have done that, and that could have been really cool. And that could have been his comeback story, and do a Wonder Woman story, and an Aquaman story, and a Flash story, and kind of do little hints like the Thanos thing. If you really wanted to do a universe, build the universe. Don't just be like, well, here's Superman, and then here's Batman, and we're even going to throw Wonder Woman in there as an extra, and Justice League, here you go.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it felt like, and it's just like, whoa. Like,
yeah.
How did we, you know what I mean?
How rushed that they did it, and the stories that they try to put into it. They try to put in Superman and Batman meeting for the first time, but guess what? Batman is already seasoned. Batman's already lost his Robin. It's like, bro, I'm not lying. I know a lot of people wouldn't want it. I would have much rather seen The Killing Joke. I'd much rather see Robin get his shit rocked. I thought that'd be a good movie to watch, but no. Instead, all we got was a fucking statue. And the fucking BVS movie. Like, bro, you totally just gave us something that we desperately probably wanted to see. And just made a small little remark on it and just continued on with the whole destination model that they have. It's like, we want to see Batman versus Superman. We wanted to see that.
Yeah.
I think it's a collection. Everyone wanted to see that movie. But in time. I would have been extremely happy to see that movie in my 30s.
Yeah.
I'm 25 years old, dude.
But
I would have been happy to see that at 35 because after seeing all of these other movies, that would have been more emotional weight than watching the fucking pigsty that I watched, a few years back.
Do Man of Steel. Maybe even do Man of Steel 2. Do a Batman movie. Do a Wonder Woman movie. Then do BVS. Then do Aquaman. Then do The Flash. Then do a Cyborg movie. Like, build up this universe and all of these different characters and kind of have things mesh and go back and forth. Then do a Justice League film. Introduce Darkseid. Introduce Steppenwolf. The same way that you did it in the Snyder Cut. Now, again, the Snyder Cut, it didn't need to be 4 hours long, but do that whole Snyder Cut thing. Do the whole Zack Snyder trilogy, what he was going to do with, the evil super, what's it called? Is it Apocalypse?
What?
What's the storyline? What we got at the
Apocalypse
end? The Apocalypse storyline where Superman's the villain and the Joker is with Batman, and you could do Suicide Squad in there. There's so many different ways that they could have done this, and it just
I like the Suicide Squad more than I like the fucking Justice League. Like that says a lot about.
Listen, I'm gonna be
about the DCEU right now.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Even with the Snyder Cut, and listen, again, people are going to hate me for this, but we're probably going to get unsubscribed for everything I'm about to say. even with the Snyder Cut, I still think Suicide Squad, like the Will Smith Suicide Squad, is my favorite DCU movie. I really
Yeah.
do. It's like
And if
it's
I'm being
fun.
completely
It's
honest, I'm
dumb.
sure I've
I
heard
don't
good
like.
things. I've heard more good things about Birds of Prey than I did of
I
Justice
still haven't
League.
even. I haven't seen Birds of
Yeah,
Prey.
but there's more positive reactions to Birds of Prey than fucking Justice League. And
I'm
that says a
sure.
lot, dude.
I'm
It's like all
sure.
these other side movies, side quests like Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, and all these other ones. Like they're a lot much more popping than your main superheroes. That should say a lot.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And
It's like
I mean,
there's no
look,
focus group. It's like there's no focus group at the DCEU, and if there is a focus group, it's a bunch of fucking 6-year-old men that don't know what the fuck comic book is.
do you need a drink?
No, it's just the fact. It's just the fact that they. It's like they're all sitting at a table and be like, "Oh well, let's just yeah, let's just give them a Batman movie because I think they're kind of wanting it." And you know how many Batman movies we fucking have? Like over like 7 or 8, I'd say, right? We have like over 7 or 8 Batman movies.
I don't know.
That's what pisses me off is the fact that there's so many more Superman and Batman movies because guess what? That's their niche.
Yeah.
That's what they know. In the next 5 years, I guarantee you there'll be another Batman movie rebooting. I almost guarantee you because that's just what they're good at. They're good at making Batman movies. Granted, yeah, they are good at it.
I listen. I feel like DC does not focus on telling good, and I'm talking their live action DCEU films. I'm not talking about their standalone projects. I'm not talking about the animated things. I'm not talking about your Batman Beyonds and your old school animated cartoons. Like all of that stuff is spectacular. But the DCEU doesn't feel like it's focused on telling a good story. It just feels like they're focused on build the universe, like quickly, like not slowly and intricately. It's just like they just have to be there. Like just
they have to pull
get
you.
there.
They have to pull you with these like little remarks of like, oh, the universe is building.
And I don't
and it's like that's not the case.
Understand why. Like it just doesn't make sense. And my fear, kind of going back to what started this whole thing, is if they recast, if Warner Brothers and DC recast Ezra Miller, the DCEU will have lost yet another original. So now, then, if everything plays true with the Flash, like it's been rumored to have been, and we lose Henry Cavill, and we lose Ben Affleck, and we lose Ezra, if they really recast them,
Henry Cavill is literally one of the most heartbreaking thing to see.
It will make the DCEU even more of a shell than it already was, for me at least. And I agree with you. Listen, I was never a Superman fan as a kid. I really wasn't. Even as a little kid, I was a Batman guy. Like I was a Batman guy and I was a Marvel guy. I was like, I liked Wonder Woman. I liked the Flash. I read DC comics too. I'm not partial to Marvel. I really did. I know it made it seem like it. I was a DC fan too.
No, because get this. No.
But I was never a Superman
apologize
fan
for that. Here's what you say.
Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill changed my mind about Superman. He really did.
Yeah, and don't apologize for the Marvel and DC thing. You love Marvel comics and you love DC comics. You love Marvel Cinematic Universe, but you hate DC Universe. That's perfectly okay. That's not to say that we're fucking Marvel fanboys. It's just the fact that we don't like what the DC. Huh?
I said mental health. We got it. It's like the ASMR. Hello and welcome back to AMSR or what the hell is the thing? ASMR.
ASMR. Yeah, but no, I fucking hate it. I'm sorry, but it's okay for us to not like what's going on in DCU because it's a collective. Because it's a collective hate with everyone else that the DCEU is fucking trash, and it started all with Henry Cavill. Whenever they decided to throw that fucking look, if there's something bad with Henry Cavill, we would have known by now. You understand that?
Oh, like if something's bad going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, if there's something bad with Henry Cavill, we would have known. But from what I understand, Henry Cavill is probably one of the most genuine persons we have ever met in our lives.
I don't think anything's going bad because I could be mistaken and this shit may have passed already or the shit may have sailed already, but like, isn't he rumored to be 007? Or wasn't he like one of the people that they were like dream casting to be 007?
Yes, and that started sparking after The Man from Uncle. If you guys haven't seen that movie, The Man with Uncle with
I haven't seen
Hammer
that.
and Henry Cavill, it's a fucking great spy movie, dog. It's a
I
great
haven't seen
spy
that.
movie. You need to check it out. The Man from Uncle, peak.
I'll have to check it out.
And the way Henry Cavill plays the American spy, that's where the spark happened with him wanting to be James Bond. But again, there's been nothing I have heard so far about something bad happening with Henry Cavill. And if there is, let me know, because I want to know. I do. I'm curious to know what the big deal is with what they did with Henry Cavill.
Right.
So, because as you can see, they're allowing all these other stuff happen, and they're allowing all these other projects happen, and these other actors are going through fucking hell on high water with Ezra Miller, with Amber Heard, with everyone else. Like, bro, like, what did Henry Cavill do to the point where they said, you know what, we got to redux this entire fucking franchise? It's like, what happened? And Ray Fisher too. Ray Fisher and Henry Cavill. Like, what the fuck happened with all this?
It literally gets worse as we talk about it. The whole Ray Fisher thing is garbage, dude. It's garbage.
If you think about, and you look at what happened with Gal Gadot, like, and the whole
Joss Whedon thing.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck? I'm surprised she didn't leave.
It's
not that they would have recast her, but I'm surprised Gal Gadot just stayed after all of that.
It's such a mess, man. It's such a mess. Hello, gentlemen. What's up here? Good to see you.
I'm sorry for what you're about to hear, because we have gone so far off the deep end with the fucking.
Listen, we have ranted the crap out of this thing. Brad, we have the same Kentucky burr. I mean, listen, when you got good taste, you got good taste. I mean, that's just the way it is. This was actually a gift from somebody. When we toured Four Roses, which is, let me find it.
Wait, you're kidding? You got that at Four Roses? Get the fuck out of here!
Right here, Four Roses. I've toured that distillery. Oh my God, I actually toured it with Miguel not that long ago.
Yeah, we all know.
And we toured that distillery. So that's my Kentucky bourbon. So I'm drinking Evan Williams right now, by the way. So
yeah, I guess
she said mine was a gift from somebody too. See,
look at that. There you go.
Good taste, man. People have good taste. Hashtag twins. Twins. Yeah, I listen, my current train of thought is that I feel like what needs to happen is DC needs to scrap the DCEU thing for a while. Like, use, like, I'm not saying you can't
cut your losses, dog. That's all I got to say.
I don't know how you would go about. Listen, I'm not saying I have all the answers. I don't know how you would go about scrapping it.
No, I'm sorry, dog. Listen to the fans, because we got the answers.
I actually don't have the answer on how you would do this, but my thought is that the DC and Warner Brothers should focus on telling individual stories.
Yes.
Do what you did with the Batman. Do what you did with Joker. You know, the reason the Batman worked so well was because they were focused. Matt Reeves was focused on telling a really good story. Yeah, one really good story. You know, if that was the only Pattinson film we ever got, it could work. It works as a standalone project, no universe, no sequels, just a straight up one shot, and it works. Joker, the same way. There doesn't have to be sequels. There doesn't have to be another one. There doesn't have to be another one. It can just be that. If they do sequels, great. Listen, I'm fine with them building a Batman universe in having a Matt Reeves Batman universe. That's fine. Like, I'm okay with that because it's contained to one character. We're not trying to add in Superman and Wonder Woman and the Cyborg and the Flash. And we're not trying to add in all of these different things. It's just contained to telling one good story in one good, I guess you'd say it's universe, like in one universe. You know what I mean? And I think that's fine. It's centered around one character. I think the universe thing with what they're doing, I think it's just trashed. It's too far gone, in my opinion. I don't think it's savable anymore. Even listen, let me ask you a question, Hunter. I did see your question, buddy. I'm gonna get to it in just a second. I missed it, but I see it now, and I'm gonna go back. Do you want a Snyderverse resurrection, or do you think that ship has sailed?
Bro, nothing has sailed. Nothing has sailed. Anything and everything is on the table. I can't express that enough. This is not a real thing. This is just something people are making. This is just movies.
What do you mean?
We're just talking about movies here. We could do whatever we want. Motherfucker, we could bring Michael Keaton back. We could bring George Clooney back for all we fucking care. We
Val
could do
Kilmer.
a Batman we could do a Batman universe. A Batman like No Way Home bullshit. And people will still want to go see it. It doesn't fucking matter. This is not a hard thing to grasp. To just scrap something and start something new.
For real though, we've ranted for 46 minutes about something that really in the grand scheme of things doesn't even matter.
Because nobody cares. Okay, no, people do care about it, but just
it's okay. It's all right.
But people, okay. But people really don't like. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Warner Bros. So much with the DCEU because Warner Bros. Warner Bros. is what are the other projects under their umbrella?
Other
than DC,
isn't the MonsterVerse under the Warner Brothers umbrella?
Yeah. Bro, MonsterVerse smacked, dog. I'm sorry, it's smacked.
Listen, I'm not saying I like Warner Brothers. I'm not saying Harry Potter was under Warner Brothers. Like, I'm not saying Warner Brothers is bad. Please, nobody take it that way. I love Warner Brothers. I think Warner Brothers is great. But in terms of what Warner Brothers and DC has done with the DCEU, I'm not a fan at all. I'm really not.
Yeah. And you know what's even more fucked up is that Warner Bros. They made the DC animated universe. That's their project too, and it fucking slaps.
It's spectacular. It
fucking slaps. So what the fuck is going on with these live action stuff? Dog?
That's why I don't understand why it's so hard to get the live action universe right. I just for the life of me, man, I don't understand. And I'm not saying I could do it better. It's just as a fan, it makes me scratch my head. Hunter Iggy said, let's talk movies. Have you heard Mikey Sutton from Geekosity.com? They're great, by the way. Said on Syllabdul Inc. a week ago, said that Batman is going to reach out to the Flash in the Speed Force and tell him to come back home in the end. Like in Zack Snyder's or in the Snyderverse film.
That's fucking stupid.
What do you... Okay, I'm confused.
Michael Keaton does some bullshit with the Speed Force and talks to Barry Allen with Ezra Miller and saying something to come home or something like that. I don't know. Are we talking about
Keaton or are we talking about Affleck?
Pull up the comment. What I think it's a Keaton.
Have you heard Mikey Sutton said on Syllabdul a week ago that they said Batman is going to reach out to the Flash? I have not heard that. Hunter, can you elaborate, buddy? If you're still listening, elaborate for us. Let us know exactly what you mean, because I'm a little confused. I mean, but isn't he already there though? I'm confused.
I'm assuming it's Keaton's.
If it's Ben Affleck's, why? But what do you mean come back? What do you mean coming back?
I don't know, dog.
Is that their way of retconning the Snyderverse?
I don't know, dog.
I don't know. I'm so confused. See what I mean? It's such a disaster. It's so confusing. Listen, we're never going to be able to interview anybody from Warner Brothers because they probably hate us. But
I don't want to. And I'd be like, bro, what the fuck are you guys smoking? What are you sniffing? Look, what are you hucking up in that office?
We are
dog?
A couple of dudes in Kentucky talking about movies. Like, this is. I don't mean this any disrespect to anybody who works for Warner Brothers. Dave McRae says this all the time. It's hard making movies. Like, it is, and it's. We say it doesn't matter, but it does matter. Movies matter because art matters, entertainment matters. Like, it does matter. It's important.
That's not what I'm saying, though.
And I know that a lot of people work incredibly hard to make these things happen, and I don't mean anything disrespectful to those people. It's just as fans of the comic books, as fans of the characters, as people who grew up with these characters, the stories that I feel like they're only telling stories with the glass like a quarter of the way full. You know what I mean? Like we said before, it just feels like it's all been about the destination and not about the journey of getting there. And Infinity War and Endgame were so special because, like, they even in the advertisement, it was like 10 years have built to this. It was literally a decade of our lives were spent building to that moment when they all became the Avengers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, they took the time to do that. And it feels like that first Justice League film should have that first Justice League film should have been more impactful than it was. Even, and I don't mean this, even without Zack Snyder, it should have been more impactful than it was, and it wasn't. Hunter, I don't know if you're still in the chat, buddy. Tell us what you mean exactly by that comment. I read it a few minutes ago. I'm still. Which Batman is reaching out to the Flash and the Speed Force? Are we talking about at the end of the Snyder Cut when we see him reach out to Affleck in BVS?
Same way, but we don't know which Batman.
Like which Batman? But
Yeah.
why would Keaton be reaching out to him? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
To tell him to come home.
Batman Batman gets the Speed Force powers, and now he is the Flash. Keaton is now the Flash.
You just see Keaton, and he's like, "I'm Bat Flash." That's awesome. That would be great, man. That would be awesome. That is the way.
It'd be an entire clusterfuck.
Oh, that's the way it's done, man. That is the way it's done. It's crazy, man. It's just, it's wild. I wish
there was anything else that I could say in regards to like what's going on with the DCEU universe.
I feel like I've kind of gotten it out of me now. Like I'm like, okay.
Do you feel loose off?
Like I feel complete now that I've gotten that off my chest. So, not a super long episode. Hunter, we'll give it a few more minutes, buddy, if you're in the chat, just to kind of elaborate on what you said. 52-minute episode, not one of our longer ones, but I knew from the minute I thought about it, I was like, I have to get this off my chest. Like, you know,
I'm happy to talk about it or anything at this point.
I know, right? Hunter Iggy, there he is. The Flash movie. Ezra Miller Flash is stuck in the Speed Force. He is going to save his mother, and he's going to refix it again. Mikey said Ben Affleck is going to reach out to him to tell him to come home.
How does Ben Affleck able to get to like enter the Speed Force?
I know. I'm still confused. I'm not.
But again, listen.
This is hurting my brain.
If that's,
I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, sure. We could go with that.
But are we trying to retcon, or are we not trying to? Like, I don't know.
Bro, what can you retcon anymore at this point in this movie?
I know.
What more is there?
You know, like, what are we going to do? I don't know.
It's like beating a dead horse. It's like, bro, what are we doing right here?
It really is. In conclusion, in the end, I really think and believe in my deepness in my heart of hearts that Warner Brothers and DC need to focus on telling good original stories, standalone stories, or not even standalone, but stories that are contained within their own universe, not trying to do a whole massive universe. And listen, in a few years, once some time has passed, sure, go at it. Try and do a universe thing. Let's try it again. Try it with new writers, new staff, new people behind it. But for right now, it's just not doing it for me, dog. And listen, the Flash might come out, and I might be like, bro, the Flash is one of the coolest movies of the year. It's great. It definitely pulled a No Way Home or a Multiverse of Madness, and it's really changed my mind. We'll have to see. That's going to be a very interesting review. I will say that when the Flash comes out, that is going to be a very interesting review, because I don't think that Black Adam is really going to have a ton of pull with the future of the DCU. I don't really think Shazam! Fury of the Gods will, or Aquaman. I don't think any of those films are really going to be like, not in the way that the Flash is going to be with this multiverse thing. And the Flash has it's like we said at the very beginning, the Flash has the ability to change everything. That film has the ability and the power to literally change the face of the DCEU.
Yeah,
it really does. So we're just going to have to wait and see. 55 minutes in. Guys, I think that is going to do it for episode number 68 of Let's Talk Movies. As always, we always want to hear what you have to say. and what you think, especially on hot topics like we had tonight. So please, if you are listening on Spotify or any of the other podcast platforms, be sure to leave us a like. On YouTube as well. You can always find the video form of our show on YouTube, and tweet at us at We Talk the Movies. Let us know what you think. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. New episodes of Let's Talk Movies and Purely and Simply Evil premiere every single Tuesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at We Talk the Movies. You guys are wonderful, beautiful people, and we love you a whole lot. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you soon. Peace.
Peace.